Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmetto Valley. We from the football chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating no dragons who run the whole city. You wildin', and they really bout it. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them. Yeah, and Connie I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the fofo. This for the fofo. This for the fofo.
All right, everybody, welcome back here. It is hard to believe we are in week 9 already, and it's time to knock on the door of the playoffs as teams have figured out how many games they're going to get at very minimum this year, with some of the teams in the county only getting 10 this year and some of the teams preparing for that 11th game. I'll tell you what, last Thursday and Friday, because of NEOEA Day and all various schools having the day off, we got our action a day early on Thursday, and we started it off with an absolute monster of a game. The Geneva Eagles hosting on homecoming night against the Lakeside Dragons, and this week's Player of the Week was the man of the hour. We'll bring up his stats right now. Caden Proy, the senior for Geneva, 8 carries, 165 yards, 4 touchdowns in 8 carries. That's the stats there, absolutely unbelievable. He didn't stop there, though. A punt return for a touchdown, and he took 2 out of the air with 2 interceptions. So let's bring our Week 8 Player of the Week, Caden Proy. Caden, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much.
I'll tell you what a week you had out there, getting it done both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, which has become the Geneva way. You guys hurt him in the end zone and keep him out of there, that's for sure. But you go out there, 8 carries, 4 touchdowns. So every 2 times you touch the ball, you went to the end zone. I mean, what's it feel like to have a night like that?
Yeah, I mean, it feels great. I know my line up front is going to do their job, and it's up to me to find the hole and get to the end zone.
Well, yeah, you talk about that offensive line, which it's very impressive. And the lines and the lanes, they're not holes. You guys have freeways that you guys get to run through out there. And, I think one of the things you got to show off a little bit on Thursday night was that speed, because I'm telling you, man, when you get to the corner, it's kiss the baby goodnight. Yep. You're in the end zone. So where did that speed come from?
Yeah, it's a lot of work in the off season. We spend a lot of time in the weight room. Coach Shimsky has a great program for us. I think it's just being really consistent in the weight room. It helps us to be really physical up front and have a lot of speed out on the outside.
Well, you guys run that wing T offense, which is the bane of many teams' existence, I can tell you that. But you guys run it, like a well-oiled machine. And, it's like a 3-headed, 4-headed monster back there between you, Bryce, Pete, Ricky DePetta, Owen Davis. Everybody's getting a chance at the action out there. What's it like, navigating through that as a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have a lot of guys that the other team has to prepare for. They're not just set on one guy. So it's awesome being able to see Owen have big games, Ricky, all of us just going out there and performing. Yeah,
so, you run the offense and you run it very, very well. How long have you been playing football?
I played since I was 5, so about 13 years now.
So 13 years and one jersey the whole time, right?
Yeah, for sure. Always been a Geneva guy.
So, from the time you were 5, you're a wing T running back, quarterback. How did that start?
Yeah, I was a running back for a long time, actually, till this year. We needed someone to fill the spot, and I was ready to go. So kind of transformed into a quarterback during this summer.
So, what was that like for you going into your senior year? You've been a running back. You know the way that this offense works. They're asking you, we need the big dog to take the snaps. We need Caden to be, under center for you guys. What was that like for you?
I mean, it kind of was an option for me. I knew that I knew the guys needed somebody to step in, and I knew I had what I had to do.
How much of a change was that for you going from running back? Now, I know with the wing tee, a lot of people just assume the quarterback is the third running back, but I know there's different responsibilities.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's about really just knowing what everybody else is doing and not just that running back spot. So it took a little bit to get all the steps down and everything, but after a while, I kind of just flowed into it.
Yeah, how much time do you spend actually, learning the offense, watching film, stuff like that?
I mean, every day we spend half the time on offense, half the time on defense. So it's about hour and a half every day, just repetition, and getting all the steps right so that in the game we are ready.
Yeah. So you know what? You don't just get it done on the offensive side of the ball. We talked about the defensive side of the ball. And this year you make another change, moving back into that free safety. Probably the help of like a 4 or 5 inch growth spurt that you got.
Yeah.
But what was that like, being the last man to keep him out of the end zone?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big responsibility, but, I've been back there for a while, so I'm kind of just flowing into it and making sure everybody else knows exactly what they're doing on the defensive side as well.
So, you guys have a big game. Let's not sugarcoat this. This is a big game. It's a rivalry game, a battle for county supremacy, if you will. It's Ashtabula versus Lake County, and it's Madison, the guys that you guys can essentially look over your shoulder and see their high school.
Yeah.
What's practice been like? I know it's only Monday, but what's practice like going to be like this week preparing for that other team?
It's definitely a different mindset. We know we have to go in there and play a really good game. We need to take care of the ball, stop them on defense, and be really good on special teams. So definitely a big mindset going into this week, and we know we got to prepare.
Yeah, I mean, preparation, that's what you guys do. And, I mean, preparation, I think, is probably a little bit different for you guys because, you guys have that offense. You guys know it like the inside and out, you know what I mean? Defense is a little bit different, but it's always one of those games where it's, you got to fight for your right in that one. And you guys got to go into enemy territory this year as you go over the county line into Lake County and the Eagles. And you guys are not just fighting for the game, but there's a title on the line here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, every team that we play knows what we're going to do. We're going to run the ball, and it's about them out-physicaling us. And I think we've done a great job in the offseason working out and stuff. And I think we're in a great spot every game that we play.
So, you're a multi-sport athlete, and, you can see Caden Proy out there on the basketball court as well. How long have you been playing basketball?
I wrestled a little bit when I was younger, so probably playing basketball since I was maybe like 7-ish. I don't know. I've kind of dabbled in it my whole life, but playing it for real probably when I was about like 7-ish.
So, you're a very good basketball player as well, one of those guys they got a key on. But how do you think that helps you with football?
I think a big thing with that is like our team a lot. A lot of our basketball guys play football too, so we're always around each other. I think it really helps us on the court and on the field, a lot of our chemistry.
Yeah, you got to tone down the physical a little bit on the basketball court.
Sure.
You guys certainly are a physical team on that football field. But, one of the things that Geneva has that I think is a point of pride is, the youth and the involvement there. You talk about the junior high, one of the few teams in the area that has a certified bona fide freshman team. Your JV plays every week. And then you've got the Little Eagles, the Eaglettes or whatever you want to call them. What are some of the things you do for the younger guys?
We make sure to go down there and be there for those guys if they need it. If there's a big loss, we're going down there to talk to those guys, lift them up. I think it's a huge thing that they're running the same things that we are down there. So all the way down from the youth league up to the high school, we're running the same plays, and they can go out there and watch. We're doing the same exact thing that they are.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some. You guys, whether you believe it or not, are the superstars to those young guys. Everybody, I always call the high school athletes, you guys are the NFL players that they get to see every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, for the young Eagles out there, for the guys in the youth league or even the junior high that are either picking up a football for the first time or maybe struggling a little bit, what are some words of advice you would give them to be successful? Because you certainly are.
Yeah, I think a big thing is to just stick with it. I mean, it gets tough sometimes. It's really hard on your body and your mind and stuff, but I mean, being out there with your friends, all of them become family, and I think it's a really big thing to have that growing up.
So success is what you guys do in Geneva. You guys are a certified program out there. You know, you guys don't hope for wins. You expect the wins to come in there. But, you know, the change to quarterback, the change to safety, those sort of things. What surprised you this year with all the changes, if anything?
I think a lot of the young guys stepping up and just being there. I mean, we graduated a lot of seniors last year, a lot of guys that stepped up and have played for a while. I think it's a big thing to take those younger guys under your wing and make sure they know that they have to step up.
So, you know, you play offense, you play defense. Which one do you like more? Now, remember, your offensive coordinator's right over there.
I think I'd have to say offense. I mean, I love getting the board.
So I'm going to give you a situation here. It's the end of the game. All right, 10 seconds left. You can either have the ball on the 10 or you can be on defense on the 10. Which one do you want to be on?
Probably have the ball.
You want to have the ball. All right. Spoken like a true quarterback, and that's what I was hoping to hear out of you.
Yeah.
You know, so what are some things we can expect to see out of this Geneva Eagles team for the rest of the year?
I think same thing we've been doing. You know, we're going to be really physical up front, and every team knows what we're doing. And we're on our defensive side. I think we're really starting to fine-tune things on that side of the ball. We've struggled early on in the year, but I think we're really starting to get out there and be prepared.
Well, I'll tell you what, the stats back up what he's saying right there, and I'm going to tell you, I'm excited for this week as it's the first time that you guys get to hear my big mouth on a broadcast this week, and for a big game nonetheless, it's going to be a great one. You're going to be able to catch it right here on YSN Live. Let's bring up those stats one night because this is like a Madden type of stat line. 8 carries, 165 yards, 4 touchdowns, a punt return, and 2 interceptions out there, and that's why you, my friend, are our Week 8 Player of the Week. It's Caden Proy.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sheely's is more than a furniture store. We're a hub for all of your appliance needs. We offer the widest selection at everyday low prices, with over $1 million of in-stock inventory from Whirlpool, KitchenAid, LG, GE, and more. Our knowledgeable, no-pressure sales staff can help you find the perfect appliances for your home. We're there for you beyond your purchase to service what we sell and offer free local delivery with 24-month special financing. Sheely's, the best things in life happen at home.
House troubles can attack anytime. When trouble strikes, call Mighty Mike. Your hometown hero is on his way. HVAC causing havoc? Has your furnace gone mad? Mighty Mike Heating and Cooling will save the day. Commercial or residential, 24/7. For quality service you can depend on, call your hometown hero. Call Mighty Mike.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa.
And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing.
Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships.
We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team.
Your goals, our game plan.
Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
Oh, let's get that fixed real quick. All right, everybody, welcome back here. We are just finishing up that interview with Caden Proy, our Week 8 player of the game, or player of the week, and boy, did he have himself a night. You know, we're going to go through some of the scores from both Thursday, Friday, and this week I don't think we had any Saturday games, but all kinds of action going on throughout the county this week. You know, some of these playoff spots have been locked in. Some of these playoff spots, unfortunately, have been locked out for some of the teams out here as well. But this is a huge week coming up, this one in Week 9, as we've got a CVC championship on the line. We've got an NAC championship on the line. It's a lot of great football happening right here in Ashtabula County, and I'm telling you, I couldn't be more excited as we're heading into this big playoff push here. Lots of teams that are going to be making noise in Week 11. But let's bring up our results from Week 8. And we'll start off with, as we were talking about earlier in the show, it's Lakeside versus Geneva. And in that one, you know, Geneva's going to come out on top 56-14. Geneva moves to 6-2. Lakeside moves down to 1-7. You know, I think if you looked at this game just from a records perspective, you know, that score is probably what a lot of people would have expected. You know, I like to look at things a little bit, you know, into that second level. I was really interested to see how this one was going to pan out. You've got Geneva, who runs the ball better than anybody, taking on Lakeside, who, if you look statistically speaking, passes the ball better than anybody. So it was going to be, could Geneva stand up to that passing attack? Could Lakeside stand up to that running attack? And I think we got the answer right there. Not only does Geneva put up 56 points in a run-heavy defense, but interceptions galore, taking in 4 as a team in that one against one of the county's best quarterbacks. You know, Geneva is a machine. That's what they are, the big red machine. They're the cane of Ashtabula County. When you see them, you know exactly what you're getting. You're either going to stop it or you're not, and that's exactly what happened in this one. Pymatuning Valley going out there, and they've really hit the ground running in this one as well. You know, stumbled a couple times early in the year. 44-0 is going to be their win over the Wyndham Bombers. You know, the interesting thing with Pymatuning Valley is the way that they're getting the wins this year. You've got Justin Britton, who's one of the county's top passers, and Pymatuning Valley, traditionally a running team, but this year they have shown each and every week that they can throw that ball and throw the ball well, with, you know, top-level quarterback play as well as top-level receiving play from guys like Jace Folkman and Sean Croston. Grand Valley, the Mustangs were looking for a big bounce back, and they found it this week. 48-0 is the final score in that one over Cardinal. Cardinal, you know, they've struggled this year, you know, struggled with numbers. It's been, you know, a difficult year for them. And Grand Valley, they were not wasting any time whatsoever. They go out there, get the job done in a very, very big way. Conneaut and Edgewood, this one, I got to tell you guys, this is one of the ones that was a surprise to me, not because Edgewood is not good, because I very much believe Edgewood is a top-level, very, very talented team, but because this was a blowout, this is typically a closer game because of the rivalry. But Edgewood goes out there and wastes absolutely no time. I mean, they took control of this game from the opening kick and never looked back. J.J. Dufour has been absolutely electric all year long. I had to laugh at this one as, you know, some of my pregame picks on this one got put out there in some social media videos. And, you know, great job, great work by Blake Vey putting together the post-game highlight film. I called this one to be close, and I was wrong. Not the first time, and definitely not going to be the last time I'm wrong in this one. But the final score in that one, 49-14, and the Edgewood Warriors are making a huge push into the playoffs as well. Jefferson, they struggle against the Madison Blue Streaks last week. 38-7 is the final in that one. And Madison now moves to 6-2 as well. So Madison 6-2, Geneva 6-2. That's going to set up for an absolutely huge, epic battle this week. And you're going to be able to catch it right here on YSN Live. The Jefferson Falcons, you know, found some success early on in the season and have struggled a little bit in these last couple weeks. But, you know, even with the struggles, they still got some guys who are out there just flat out making plays each and every week. And, the one that sticks out in my head is Matthew Webster, who's going to get over 1,000 yards rushing, and you'll see when we go to the statistics later in the show. He's had a phenomenal season. Some growing pains going on over there in Jefferson. And this was a team that, had to kind of reset and relook at the way that they were going to play football. And it's a growing, it's a work in progress. Still very, very talented. They still got some guys who can really, really play football well. And then this next one, St. John wins 35-0 over Matthews, taking St. John to 4-4. More importantly on this one, the first homecoming win for the St. John Heralds since 1988. An absolutely incredible stat. I didn't believe it until they told me that at the game. They go out there, get the job done. Chase Newsom has been absolutely incredible for this team this year, leading the way in that game. He scores 2 touchdowns. I think what was more impressive in this one was 4 different Heralds actually scored in this game, including Anthony Severino, who wins homecoming king that night and ends the night with 2 interceptions. The receiving end of a receiving touchdown that was thrown by Chase Newsom, which is one of the best passes I've seen all year, a 42-yard dart into the end zone on an end-around reverse pass. But, what's more important for St. John here is that they had to win this game to keep their playoff dreams alive. And this was a team that I think there were questions on how were they going to step up in a big game when pressure was on. And I think St. John showed very well right here that they're going to step up in a very big way. They've got an absolutely huge matchup this week as well. So we'll talk, that was week 8. Let's go into week 9 and talk about some of the matchups that are going to be right here on your home for high school sports. It's ysnlive.com. We'll start off with Lakeside at 1-7 taking on Conneaut at home. Conneaut coming into this one 3-5. This is going to be a game of who can get their offense going. J.J. Murphy has been phenomenal for the Lakeside Dragons. Isaiah Bowles has played really very well for this Conneaut Spartans team. The question is Conneaut going to be able to get their run game going in this one? Because that's where you got to attack Lakeside, is on the running game. When you put the ball in the air, they typically are going to take it out of the air, and turnovers have been an issue for both of these teams. Pymatuning Valley at 5-3 taking on an 0-7 Cardinal Huskies. PV, I think, is the heavy favorite in this game, and for very good reason. PV is prepping for the playoffs. They should go out there and win this one fairly handedly. Shout out to Cardinal for, they could have packed it in. They could have packed it in like a couple other schools across the state with low numbers. But Cardinal, playing their games and making sure that these kids, especially for the seniors out there, are going to get a chance to get a season of football in there, when the odds are stacked against them. This next one is an interesting one as well. Grand Valley at 4-4 versus 3-5 Matthews. Grand Valley, contrary to popular belief, is not out of the playoffs yet. Now, the percentages are very low, and they're going to need a lot of help from a lot of different places. But Grand Valley's gotten some things that have moved in the right direction. They've got some guys back ready to play football that are going to make huge plays for them, and they're going to have to win out if they want to get into the playoffs, and that starts right here in Week 9 as they take on a Matthews team that Grand Valley is going to have to get this win. Edgewood and Jefferson take on. It's 2-6 Jefferson versus 4-4 Edgewood. This is a Hoadley Cup game, a trophy game. Edgewood has really been firing on all cylinders over the last couple weeks. They run into a bit of a stumble when they take on Madison and Geneva, but those, let's be honest, 2 of the better teams in the area. But every time Edgewood has been tested this year, they have showed up, and with playoffs right there within their grasp. I mean, they are in the playoff race right now. They cannot afford to lose this game. And the next one. This one has every chance to be the game of the week. Not just here in Ashtabula, but in Northeast Ohio and potentially in the state. This is Geneva at 6-2 taking on Madison at 6-2 at Madison. The winner of this game is going to be the CVC champion this year. These are two teams that know each other very well and don't like each other very much. And that is the recipe for an excellent, excellent football game. You know, you talk about Geneva, it's Proy, it's DePetta, it's Davis, and it's Pete. I mean, let's not make any bones about it. They've got the guys that can make the plays. But Madison's got some guys of their own. Will Randall is a phenomenal quarterback. You know, they've got Poe, they've got Berman. This is a game that, you know, I don't have the numbers directly in front of me on what the spread is, but if it's more than a touchdown, that's wild to me. I think this is going to be a game. It could potentially be a game where whoever has the ball last is going to win this ball game. But it's a game that, more importantly, both of these teams need for playoff seeding purposes. You know, you wouldn't want it any other way this far down in the season. CVC title is on the line, and you're going to be able to catch it. I'm getting the honor and the privilege this week of calling this game. I'm going to be joined by Seth Nagin as we head over into Madison this week to call this one, and I am pumped for this one. It's going to be a big game, a great game. We are going to see two very, very good football teams taking on one another here on Friday. And then St. John and Fairport, this will be played on Saturday. I'll be at this game as well. St. John coming into this one 4-4, Fairport 7-0. Fairport is incredible this year. You talk about the quarterback play of Lawson. You talk about the running back play that they have, and the name is escaping me right now. I apologize. But, you know, St. John, Fairport is heavily favored in this one, and they should be. They have dominated every game they've played in this year. Every time Fairport has taken the field, they have dominated. St. John has the chance this week to shock the world. They have the chance this way to solidify who they are and that St. John football is back. It is not going to be an easy ball game. I mean, they have talent for days out there in Fairport. They have figured out who they are, and they play that way every single week. I think St. John is figuring out who they are as well. So can St. John stop this high-flying offense? Can they score on this smothering defense over in Fairport? We'll find out. That's going to be on Saturday, and I'll be on the call for that one. It's going to be a really fun one. That is our Week 9 matchups, and make sure you guys tune in on Thursday as I'll be driving down to East Palestine for zone coverage, and there you're going to get our picks as to who's going to win, who's going to lose, what the point spreads are going to look like. That's going to be zone coverage. Make sure you tune in on Friday for the Lake Show 2.0. That is a Pymatuning Valley oriented show with my friends Chad Paul and George Dubik, the Zoo Crew down there in Pymatuning Valley. They do a phenomenal job. Lots of content coming out this week, but the zone coverage is when you'll get my actual picks. Right now is just the previews. All right, folks, now we're going to get to my favorite and most controversial point of the show. It's time for the stat leaders here in the county. Now, before we get going, I'm going to put out this preamble like I do every single week, but every single week I still get questions. The way that the tackles are calculated on this show, you get 1 point for a solo. You get half of a point for an assist. You get another point for a TFL and another point for a sack. That's how these numbers are put together. Every team in the area provides me that information. We put the formula to it, and that's how we come up with the total tackle. Also, the stats that I'm giving you are the stats that are given to me. So if there's a question about the stats, you got to ask, maybe your coaches and see where their stats are compared to yours, because above all, I'm going to take the coach's word on these stats. So without further ado, all right, we'll start this week as every other week. We're going to start with our passing leaders. And leading the way here in Ashtabula County is Lakeside's J.J. Murphy, 1,980 yards passing. He's got 21 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. But when you throw the ball 274 times, interceptions are bound to happen. Leading the way, right behind him on his heels, Edgewood's J.J. Dufour. It's a battle of the JJs at the top. Dufour comes into this one 1,647 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions for the Warriors quarterback. Third place is going to be Justin Britton, 1,336 yards for the Lakers passer, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Right behind him is going to be Conneaut's Colby Stiltner, 1,149 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. Mason Khalil for Jefferson comes in next with 690 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Nate Stewart from Grand Valley with 558 yards. He's got 6 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Anthony Benedict from St. John, 392 yards. He's got 4 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Carter Turk from Grand Valley comes in next, 365 yards. He's got 4 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And rounding out the list, Caden Proy with 73 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. As I've said each and every week, when you run the ball the way they do, you don't have to pass it. So moving on from the passers, we'll move on to the rushers. And leading the pack for the 4th week in a row, Bryce Pete, 1,403 yards, 16 touchdowns for the Geneva Eagle. Right behind him is going to be Matt Webster, 1,023 yards. He's got 15 touchdowns for Jefferson. Next is Isaiah Bowles with 979 yards. He's got 9 touchdowns. Caden Proy comes in with 791 yards, 17 touchdowns. That means between Pete and Proy, 17 and 16 touchdowns. Absolutely insane numbers from the rushing game over there in Geneva. Right behind Caden Proy is going to be St. John's Chase Newsom, 736 yards. He's got 11 touchdowns. Cason Bailey from Pymatuning Valley, he's got 720 yards, 6 touchdowns. J. Anthony Williams from Grand Valley, 544 yards, 5 touchdowns. Edgewood's Javen Pope, he's got 508 yards. He's got 7 touchdowns. Ricky DePetta, a third Eagle on the list, with 449 yards. He's got 6 touchdowns, and we'll make it 4 as Owen Davis has 406 yards and 6 touchdowns. The 4 horsemen leading the way for Geneva out there. And we will move from our rushers to our pass catchers. And leading the pack for the 2nd week in a row is Jace Folkman from PV. He's got 615 yards, 31 receptions, 8 touchdowns. Hot on his heels is going to be Josiah Pope from Edgewood. He's got 522 yards, 37 receptions, and 5 touchdowns. Matt Wagner from Lakeside. He's got 42 catches for 489 yards and 6 touchdowns. Right behind him, Terry Brown with 28 catches. He's got 473 yards, 6 touchdowns. Jorge Diaz, another Lakeside Dragon on this list, 31 catches, 460 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Devin Sanchez over at Edgewood. He has been an absolute weapon for this Warriors team this year. 457 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns. Devin Salinas from Jefferson with 30 catches. He's got 457 yards and 6 touchdowns. Sean Croston over at PV with 37 catches, 403 yards, 9 touchdowns. J. Anthony Williams over at Grand Valley, 347 yards, just 11 catches and 3 touchdowns. And then Conneaut's Luis Cedeno is going to be on here with 21 catches, 317 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And from the pass catchers, we will move over to our tackle leaders here in the county. And leading the way again this week, PV's Sean Croston, 81 and a half tackles for the Laker. He is far and away running away with this tackle award this year. Ricky DePetta from Geneva comes in next with 65 tackles. Chetty Arcaro from Conneaut, 64 and a half. Brody Dietrich from Jefferson, he's got 59 and a half, and he is tied with Geneva's Bryce Pete with 59 and a half tackles. Right behind Pete is going to be Tyree Anderson from Lakeside with 54 tackles, and Mason Thor with 53 and a half. Paul Seiler over at Edgewood with 44 total tackles, and behind him is going to be Josh Sable from Conneaut with 43 and a half, and rounding out the list, Caden Proy with 43 and a half tackles. And our TFL, the guys making the tackles in the backfield, it's Sean Croston tied for first place with Conneaut's Chetty Arcaro with 13 TFLs. Carlo Fasano, Muscles Marinara, making his way up the list this week, 11 TFLs. Something to keep in mind there, Fasano, that's only in 6 games with 11 TFLs. Incredible numbers from the sensational sophomore over there at St. John. Mason Thor comes in next with 9 TFLs. And then Chris McEachin over at Lakeside, he's got 7. Kason Bailey for the Lakers, he's got 6, and he's tied with Jacob Clemens and Chase Cinco of Geneva with 6 TFLs. And then our sack leaders coming into this week, leading the pack for the 3rd week in a row, it's Muscles Marinara. 8 sacks for the sensational sophomore. Mason Thor comes in next. He's tied with Luca Raymore with 4. Sean Croston has 3, and he is tied with Joey Sands of Jefferson, Jacob Clemens of Geneva, and Chase Cinco from Geneva as well with 3. And I can tell you there's about 19 other guys right now that have 2 sacks on the year. It's incredible the numbers these defensive players have put up. And then rounding it out, we're going to go to the interception leaders. And leading the way, it's a tie in first. Jace Folkman has 4. Anthony Severino from St. John has 4 as well. They are tied now with J. Anthony Williams over at Grand Valley with 4. And then next on the list, 2 Geneva Eagles, Ricky DePetta and Caden Proy with 3 interceptions each. And we have 5 other players tied with 2. 17 other players in the county have at least 1 interception on the year. What a year it's been for this defense here in the county this year. Absolutely incredible numbers. But, you know, we've got a lot of big football here. As let's go through some of these comments here. We've got Proud of You, Caden, by Jim Parks. Congrats, Caden. That's for Bob Cena. Great interview by Dina. Very proud of you. And Muscles Marinara from R.J. Baldwin. Like I was saying, guys, it's a big week here, right here in Ashtabula County, right here on YSN Live. Lots of great football happening. You don't have to miss a single down of it, as they're all going to be on the network this Friday and this Saturday here on YSN Live. Make sure you tune in on Thursday for the Pick'em Show zone coverage. I'll be joining DJ Yoakley and Greg McAfee. We're heading down to East Palestine this week. East Palestine, for those of you following football outside of this area, having an excellent year. It's going to be a great show. You're not going to want to miss it. But more importantly, you're not going to want to miss any of this county football right here on YSN. I want to thank the Geneva squad for coming out tonight and supporting the show. I also want to send a huge shout out to the Detour family for hosting us each and every week and making this show possible, as well as the Sposito family and Dan Sposito of Sposito Insurance for sponsoring this show to make sure we can bring it to you live on location each and every week. I can't believe we're already almost done here with the regular season. It's hard to believe. It feels like just yesterday we're in week 1. But I'm still excited to see how these last couple weeks go and see what the playoffs are going to bring to us as well. So thanks so much for joining me tonight. My name is Sam Torres, and always and forever, this is for the 440.
This for the 440. This for the 440. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the 440 and that go. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmerton and Valley. We from the 440 chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcons. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewood got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they no defeating no dragons who run the whole city. You wildin', and they really doubt it. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them. Yeah, and kinda I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number 1 in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the 440.